So real estate investing at the end of the day is super simple. Super simple. It's not easy to do, but it's very simple. If you think about it, you need deals, you need money to fund those deals, and you need to operate them successfully. All you really need to own a property is a deal to buy and the money to buy it. You do those two things, you own real estate. Does that mean you're a successful real estate investor? Not necessarily. That's where operations come into place, because operations tee into before you buy a property as well as after you buy a property. Operations are, hey, is this a good deal? Am I getting the right deals? Am I analyzing them effectively? Does this stuff make sense? Am I buying a good deal? And the money is, am I raising the right amount of money the right way for this type of acquisition? Once you close on it, right? Let's say you close on the deal, you make nothing. You make nothing and you're at the highest risk after closing on a deal. Why? Because now it's the make or break. Just because you own a property, you're worse owning a property than you are not owning a property if your operations are not right. What does that mean? Well, if you need to renovate the project and you're not doing so quickly, in a timely fashion, within budget, within timeline, that's messing up your operations. That's leading you to a potential risk of losing it. If you are not then, let's say for CoLiving, furnishing that property the right way with the right furnishings, if you're not then taking the right photos and setting up the right listings and managing it effectively, you don't actually have anything. You might temporarily have a deal that you bought using money, whether it's your own or someone else's, but unless you successfully operate, you're not a real estate investor. Why? It's one thing to own real estate. It's another thing to be a real estate investor. Real estate investor is someone who clearly understands that the most important thing is successfully operating properties. If you are not generating the income that you were expecting to cover all your expenses, that means you have to pay out of pocket to cover expenses. If you're losing money each month, you can only sustain a property for so long. So if you cannot generate enough income that exceeds your expenses, you're not cash flowing. Not only can you not pay the bills, but you're also not cash flowing. And that's the whole point of investing in real estate, to generate cash flow, stack enough of that, and become financially free. That's the whole business model. Buy real estate that generates you more money each month than you spend every single month. You stack enough of that cash flow, that's how you become financially free. Well, if you can't cash flow, which means you cannot cover your expenses, you're going to go into further and further into debt, into arrears, not paying your stuff. You're going to lose all that. So not only do you not have cash flow, then you're not also building wealth through real estate, right? So you didn't have a deal. You need the money to buy the deal. Now you own real estate. But to be a successful real estate investor, you have to operate it successfully. Buy the right deals, use the right money the right way, and then operate it successfully. Get it to generate you more money each month than you are spending. You do that, you get your cash flow, you live off that, you're financially free. You do that over time, you're building wealth through debt pay down, appreciation, tax benefits, cash flow, all that stuff. But unless you successfully operate, then none of that happens. All you do is own properties that you eventually lose to foreclosure because you didn't successfully operate. Why am I saying the worst case scenario? Once again, poverty mindset. I come from a place where I could not make an inherent risk. This was fundamental for me, and this stopped me from buying my first ever deal for like 18 months because I was so worried about how this was going to work. And if I messed up, how would that impact my finances? Because I had no safety net. Like a lot of you guys, you may not have a safety net. You might make decent income, but you can't make one catastrophic real estate investment mistake and survive that. Some of you guys make so much income, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. It's not ideal to mismanage $150,000, but it's not the end of the world. You can recover. Most of you, like myself, could not have recovered from that. I'm in a different place now, but most of you at your point in your investing journey, like I was a couple of years ago, cannot recover from a bad investment. That's why it's so imperative that you understand how to get the right deals, how to analyze them effectively, how to use the right money to acquire them, and how to operate them, most importantly, successfully. It's better to buy no real estate than the wrong real estate. Does that mean sometimes you will be a little bit off in your analysis? Of course. But you want to stack all the cards in your favor that you're as successful as possible when it comes to acquiring your deals. That's why I spend so much time and energy and provide you guys all these free tools and resources to help you out. Yes, I have the CoLiving Freedom Community. I charge $197 a month, right? $197 a month for something that people charge $5, $10, $20, up to $50,000 for. They provide you less education, less tools and resources, less live support calls. Why do I do that? Because I think that's crazy that people charge that much for co-living education. So I'm making it really accessible to you all as much as possible. And yes, I have my super investors community, a mastermind small group community designed to help existing investors or those with a solid amount of money make the most of it, achieve their financial freedom as quickly as possible, which comes from capital raising, as well as combining it with great creative deals, great co-living deals, and all of these operations. I'm able to give you guys so much for free. For example, all the deals. This is why I talk about bird dogging. Your job is to develop this skill set of finding great deals that someone who's a serious buyer is willing to pay for. Everyone who is in my position, who is successfully buying real estate, has deals, has money. You combine the two, you own an asset, and they operate successfully to get their returns. Does that make sense? Well, if you are starting out, what better way to get paid than to learn how to find great deals that other people are willing to pay you for as a bird dog until you decide, you know what? I got the deals. I've saved some money and or I'm going to raise money. Now I'm going to own these properties. That makes sense. Everything I try to educate you guys on, especially for free, is to help you not only make money with less risk, but to help you develop one of these two, primarily the deal side of things, so that you can translate that into owning real estate, because you're part of the real estate freedom roadmap, right? My free stuff, because your goal isn't to get stuck at active income, or even worse, never even develop any active income that exceeds your expenses. Your goal at first is develop the skills and the savings and make active income to cover your expenses, not get into debt, then have savings and have the skills to then combine that with money and then to successfully own and operate properties so that you can be financially free. That makes sense? It goes active income, develop enough of that and the right skills, and then decide, are you going to go passive investing or active investing? I've got ways to support you and help you and educate you guys through all of that stuff. Okay? This is fundamental though. People make real estate investing more complicated than it is. It's true. It is difficult, but at the end of the day, it's deals, money, combine those two, you own an asset, you operate successfully, you have cash flow, you have build wealth through real estate. You do that enough times, and I find you free and have massive amounts of wealth, right? You end up in my shoes, or, the mentors above me, whatever your goals are. You're just combining these two things, doing so successfully enough times to get whatever your goals are. So how's this bridge into the next thing? Well, I mentioned that's why I provide so much free value to bird dogs and to people trying to develop active income, because this is the best, least risk way to do it. And you're not really jeopardizing anyone. I could teach you guys how to capital connect, raise money for other people's deals, but it's not just finding the money for those deals. It's also trusting and verifying that the buyer, the operator that you're working with, is not going to take advantage of people. I have previously partnered with people who were supposed to do the deal and or the operations, and they did not do a very good job, unfortunately. I helped raise the money. They have some track record, even those guys contractually obligated, and they do not perform the way that they're supposed to. They do not operate as successfully as they're supposed to. And who's that hurt? The capital partners. So what do? We kick them out. We kick the person out who messed everything up and didn't ask for help early enough. We take over the operations. We do all of the work now. We take care of everyone. If I need to put my own money in to solve some temporary problems, I will, because my goal is to always take care of the people that I work with. It doesn't mean it's always going to be perfect, but that's why it's so important that if you're buying and holding real estate, you have your own money. That's why I primarily teach capital raising to people who already have tens of thousands, if not $100,000+, because it's not about using that money to buy real estate. It's about having that money as a safety net if and when something goes wrong in real estate investing. We have a foundation repair that needs $40,000. I own 60%. My partners own 40%. I have to put in $25,000 to fix that. Otherwise, if I didn't have that money, who would have to do it? My capital partners. Well, that's not fair. I own 60%. They own 40%. They're going to put 100% of this extra money that's needed. That's not fair. But if they don't, the house is eventually going to collapse and everyone loses everything. That's why it's so important. If you are raising money, you have a good heart. You want to take care of people. You want to be transparent. You want to communicate effectively. As soon as you know things, you want to provide solutions. You want to do all that. Does it mean you're going to be perfect all the time? No. But the number one way to solve most problems is money. Have money to solve problems, especially temporarily in real estate. And that's a lot harder when you don't have money and trying to raise money. Does that mean you shouldn't? I don't know. I'm not here to tell you shouldn't raise money if you don't have money. Someone else can primarily teach you that. And for those of you guys in Sub 2, you're welcome. I did a whole capital raising semester in Sub 2, and they'll probably do 201 and 301 at some point in the future. So it's available to you, but understand why I think it's so important that you have money before you raise money. So use the bird dog, use the active income. Don't try to get from A to Z right away, or like A to D right away. Develop the skills, develop the savings, and then bridge the gap, right? You got the deals. Now worry about the capital raising once you have some of those savings and knowledge. Then worry about partnering with someone who can raise capital and you get the deals, whatever. There's a variety of ways to do it. I'm just saying this is why I primarily focus on educating the deal stuff to you guys through bird dogging, so you can make active income, earn and learn how to be the type of buyer that you want to be. Learn from the person doing the thing that you want to do. A lot of you guys want to work for me. I love it. I got you. Got a whole free course on that. So do you understand why I provide you guys so much free value and education on deals and how to get those deals and develop your active income? And I don't want you to spend money, and I don't want you to take unnecessary risk and spend money you don't have and get into debt for education that I literally give you guys for free And most importantly, I'm not just giving you education that solely benefits me. I can only buy 1 to 3 properties a month because I know my operational limitations. If I buy more than that, it puts a strain on my operations. It means that it takes longer for us to renovate, to furnish, and all that stuff because I'm raising money. I want to be a good steward of my capital partners' funds. If it takes me longer when I'm doing more deals, that's not being a good steward of their money. So I limit the amount of deals that we buy every single freaking month. Okay, because we have no shortage of deals or money to buy more properties, but my operations where I limit because I don't also want to hire more people in my real estate business because buying 20 to 30 properties a year is insane and amazing. I already have a lot of real estate. Buying another couple dozen a year is already insane. Could I add another employee and all that stuff? Sure, maybe. I got 2 kids under 2. It's not my priority right now. I want to spend more time with them is the main goal. And I can always change my mind and restart and buy, hire someone else in 6 months and do double or whatever. Does that make sense? Right? That's where I'm at right now. Even if I tried to buy all the deals from the bird dogs, right? It's like, well, Michael, why do you do that? So I can buy more deals from you guys? Well, that'd be the best case scenario for you because you get paid when people buy your deals, but I can only buy so many. That's why I created all the free community, the education, the tools and resources, why I train buyers in the CoLiving Freedom community, why I train capital raisers and buyers and all that good stuff in super investors so they can buy your deals and you guys can partner, you guys can do more together. So instead of only being able to help 2 or 3 bird dogs, I can help hundreds of you guys make money, learn, earn, and then partner with people doing what you want to do. I don't want to buy in Philadelphia. I don't know how many people this week asked me to look at a deal in Philadelphia. I'm like, great. I don't want to do that, but I know like 10 people that do. That's the person you should be working with, not me who's only buying in our core markets. All right. That's why I educate so many of you guys. And that's why I'm trying to get you guys to earn money without spending money, learn the skills so you can take your next level in the real estate freedom roadmap. All right. I'm not going to get too far into this, but if you are buying real estate, you have kind of 3 core buckets and 6 sub buckets, whatever, of buying deals. You can either do your own direct marketing, right? This is what people talk about. Like, hey, I'm going to go talk to agents and find deals on market, right? That's the common one. That's what wholesalers do. Or I'm going to go directly to sellers. This is essentially what wholesalers do, but you can do that for yourself to acquire your own deals. These tend to be the best deals, but they also require the most effort. You can joint venture or do referrals. So instead of directly targeting one agent for one deal or one seller for one deal, you can help newer investors who have already talked to a seller agent but can't get over the finish line. So you have skills, you're providing them value. And in theory, you can buy that deal at a discount. You're doing half the work. They're doing half the work. You can buy it for half the cost, right? Or you can get deals before it's without all of the work of this. Because this is the direct marketing, the hundreds or thousands of people you got to talk to before you find a few that are motivated is the hardest part. So if a newer investor does that and you have the skills to get over the finish line, well, that's JVing. They can bring you multiple of those or repeat agent relationships. So I'm not just buying a deal. When I call an agent to directly acquire a deal, I'm not trying to buy that one deal only. If I buy that deal or not, I don't really care. I'm trying to build a relationship with that agent so they can do multiple deals in that market and train them on what I'm looking for so they can do more. In that scenario, right, these in theory are going to be worse deals, even if, because assuming it's the exact same deal. Well, if you're doing the direct acquisitions, right, you're not paying an assignment fee. Here, you're paying like half the amount that you would otherwise, right? But it's also significantly less work. And then the worst deals and the least effort, my actual favorite bucket, are buying deals already under contract. I would prefer to buy deals from wholesalers and renegotiate them and make them better if I need to, so I don't have to do all of this unnecessary work because I can take these deals and make them great and or just buy them with less effort, meaning I can buy more. There's only so much you can do in reality. You only have so much time in a day. And if you're like me, when you started out or, when I was starting out, I was working a full-time job between the military and the government. After I only had a few hours a day tops, right? Maybe 10, 15 hours a week tops to focus on a real estate investing business. And that was before kids. So you have to be very efficient with your time. Are you going to say, hey, I'll pay a wholesaler an extra $10K because they're going to do all this work for me, or add another $2K for a bird dog who's going to do more work, right? They're going to filter it, make it more clean for me, not just get the deals, but then make sure it fits my buy box and then pay them for that. That means I can buy more deals with less effort, even though I have to pay more money. Yeah, that's really important if you're trying to scale. You can't really scale very well if you're doing all your own direct acquisitions. The best real estate investors, and I can say this for a fact because I'm at Squad Up, I'm at Owners Club, I'm at all these mentorships and all these big things, big communities, masterminds. Literally, the educators, the leaders of these communities are doing this. They teach people to do this, teach people to do this, so they can, just like I'm doing, to help you guys earn money, trade your hustle, trade your time to develop skills and earn money to then bring deals that the people at the highest levels can buy more scalably. Does that make sense? And it's not inherently wrong. All it is a trade-off, right? What a bird dog needs is skills and money, and what I need is less effort, more scalable deal flow. It's a trade-off. I'm paying them money to bring me those deals, and they're learning throughout that process, and I'm getting to save a lot of time by paying that money and helping someone. Does that make sense? That's the beauty of when you think of real estate as not just a solo sport, but you start combining and understand we're all doing this together. Everyone's benefiting from it. We're all collaborating in a certain sense. We're all trading resources, whatever we have. Some people have more time. Some people have more money. Some people have more experience, whatever that looks like, right? That's why I choose, and the most successful real estate investors are not buying deals this way. They're helping people generate deals like this and paying them and helping them get educated so that they can buy more deals with less effort this way. Wholesalers and bird dogs. Do you see how the ecosystem works together so beautifully? So then, if this is your goal, this is different because I'm talking to lots of audiences. A lot of you guys are here to bird dog and make active income. A lot of you guys are here to buy real estate and be the owner of these. A lot of you guys are looking to buy real estate and do super investing, right? Super investing is not just buying real estate like this. Super investing is high leverage. It means getting your deals like this because you can buy more of them, and typically you can structure it so it's more in your buy box. Creative finance in the markets that you want to invest in, all that stuff. It's super because it's leveraged, right? You're not just spending all the time and energy one for one finding deals. You're leveraging relationships, knowledge, skills, and money to be able to buy more deals with less effort. That makes it super. Capital raising, right? Well, raising money. You can either use your own money or raise money to buy real estate. Well, super investing is leverage. You're leveraging the hard work others are doing to earn and save money and providing them a great investment opportunity for that work that they've done by letting them into your deals and or providing them fixed interest rate returns. Does that make sense? Leverage. I give a perfect example of this. I've never made $150,000 a year, not through the W-2 or anything like that. Yes, a lot of you guys saw me win the $5 million revenue award and all that. Yeah, I make a lot of money now and I have a lot of real estate income. That's revenue, not profits, but revenue. I'm trying to say is through the W-2 world, I never made over $150,000 a year. Well, I've built a over $25 million portfolio. We really don't even share numbers above that at this point because there's no point of it. And we've raised over $6 million to buy that portfolio of $25 million. Well, assuming I earned $150,000 a year, saved every single penny, I would have to have done that every single year for 40 straight years to have $6 million to buy the portfolio I have today that was done in less than 5 years. Does that put into perspective a little bit? If I used only my own money to build the exact portfolio I have now, and I earned more money than I ever did, $150,000 a year, and I saved every penny of that, it would have taken me 40 straight years of earning and saving every penny to have $6 million to build the portfolio that I have today. I was able to condense that through leverage, super investing, leverage. I provide others great investment opportunities in exchange for the money that they're bringing into the deals. They get ownership with me or they get fixed interest rate return on their money. Super investor, leverage. Same with deals. That's why you would say, why would someone pay more for a deal they could have done themselves? Well, because the less effort and the leverage allows you to buy more deals and help a lot of other people out in this, right? The person who I'm paying $10,000, $5,000, $20,000, a lot of the times that money is life-changing for them and they don't have all the skills yet to combine all of these things, but they do have the skills to find that deal, structure it, filter from my buy box like a bird dog would and get paid for that. So they learn and earn along that way until they can combine all of these together. Make sense? All right. So how does that lead into something really impressive that we're doing tonight? So I do lots of free trainings. I did the CoLiving 3-day challenge. I do the, super investor webinar. Sometimes I piece it up and focus on one topic. Sometimes it's all of it. Sometimes I do multi-hour CoLiving trainings. I've done CoLiving workshops. I don't really know. I provide you guys what you ask me for, and I try to provide you all that as much as I can. Scalable growth and or getting you guys a lot of active income. So a lot of you guys know I have that amazing calculator. And a lot of you guys have tried to use it, and it's a little tough. I get it because it's comprehensive. It accounts for a lot of things. Well, what we've built and are going to be launching is basically that calculator with almost all the data that you used to have manually input, it'll automatically be done for you. All the analysis, all that other stuff will automatically be done for you. Everything. Is this a good deal for the strategy? You click a few things, you put a little bit of property information, and it's all done for you. So the analysis is going to be done instantly for you to make a decision and or should you renegotiate that to make that even better instantly. Because I understand the more efficient that you get with your deal analysis, the more efficiently you can say that is not a good deal or that is a good deal or how can I make that a better deal, the more time you have to then look at more and more deals. Well, for scaling or for some of you guys who are not as good at deal analysis, that is the benefit there. It will do all of that for you. just as importantly, for my bird dogs and wholesalers, you get to submit your deals into one platform that then broadcasts it to all the buyers on that platform and then matches it to their buy box. So if someone says, I want to buy in Georgia, 4-bed, 3-bath, yada, yada, creative only, that's in there. You submit a deal, instead of having to work with all these individual buyers, it'll automatically match those. You can share it individually too. You can broadcast it to all those buyers whose buy box it hits, because you make money by selling those deals, bird dogging those deals. Someone has to buy it. It will do all that extra work for you. Why? Because that's not really the skill you need to develop. Your skill you need to develop is finding these opportunities, knowing what's a good fit, and then providing the right information, and then it'll broadcast all the buyers that are available. Same with the analysis. Well, then once that's done, the buyers on the platform can get instant analysis. So not only was it filtered based on their buy box, it'll also analyze it and say, hey, are these the terms that make sense for me? Could we make this a better deal? Is this a bad deal? Like all that stuff. You decide that you're going to buy it with a click of a button. You say, yes, that is the deal I want to get. I want to pay this guy. I want to buy that deal from them. I want to buy it based on his analysis and or your own manual, adjustments to the analysis. Hey, then let's get our capital raising presentation put together. I want to raise money for this deal. Well, it's going to automatically convert that into a pitch deck for raising money. It's going to connect to the super investor CRM that each super investor has to then be able to broadcast that pitch deck with all the deal information automatically done to all the capital partners that you've connected with over time. It's going to take real estate investing and take it, just like I've done over the last several years before AI, leveraging tools, resources, spreadsheets, CRMs, and all that to make the process way faster and way better. That is how I've been able to grow the way that I have, through leverage. Well, leverage is not just the deals, the money, there's the operations, right? And the operations are a lot of things. The faster you can raise money, the faster you can get your pitch deck, the faster you can analyze the deal, faster you can filter it, the faster you can connect the deal and the info to the money to the cap partners, all that stuff, like the pitch deck to the cap partners, the faster and better it is for you to be able to scale your portfolio with less busy work. I used to think it was a badge of honor for doing all this extra busy work to get this deal. Well, in reality, what matters is that I'm finding the right deal, I'm raising the right money the right way, and then I'm operating them successfully. Everything else that is friction is noise. It's not benefiting you, it's just work you have to do to get done. Well, before AI, before a lot of these tools, before all these integrations, and it's not all perfect yet, it's further getting built out, but before all these integrations, this would take, I can't even verbalize. Why would someone pay these guys to buy their deals that they could have done themselves? Because the cost of paying these guys for all their hard work is worth it. Because by the time this wholesaler has this one deal that's worth you buying, at this point, they've had to talk to hundreds of sellers to get the few that are motivated. And these are not 100% accurate numbers. Understand that, because every person is different. Because every wholesaler who's better or has better lists, it's going to require less effort. If you're much worse, right, and you are talking to the wrong people, or you can't close them the same and get those deals in contract, that's going to take you more, right? But there's a rough assumption of KPI. So why would I and a lot of the biggest real estate investors do this, even though they can save some money by doing this directly themselves? This is why. Leverage. I get to provide someone who needs exactly what they want, which is money, active income, and skill development, mentorship, whatever you want to call it, education. And I pay them so that I can then buy more properties than I would otherwise be able to if I did all my own direct acquisitions. Does that make sense? And how does that translate roughly into numbers? Well, if I was a wholesaler at the very top and I'm reaching out to sellers, let's say you have 256 sellers they reach out to, and you're filtering based on motivation. Do they actually want to sell this thing? Well, 50% of those are not actually going to want to sell it. So then now you have 128 where your job is to find if they're a motivated seller. If they're a motivated seller, right, they have motivation, you found them, they're motivated, so half of them roughly, right? The better your list is, the higher the conversion rate. Like if you're finding people who are way more motivated up front, you're finding the right list and targeting the right motivations, this is going to be higher. If you're targeting the wrong people, it's going to be way lower, right? Then you find the motivated sellers, say half, then you got to negotiate with them. And I'm being very generous and saying 50% of those, you're going to be able to put under contract. The better you're at closing and negotiating, the higher this is. The worse you are at that, the lower the conversion rate is. So that means there's less that trickles down. Well, then you have these deals, right, already under contract. You're reviewing the leads to see, does it meet your buy box? So just because someone has a deal under contract, well, if it's not for example, just say my buy box is Georgia, 4-bed, 3-bath, 2,000 square feet or more. If it's not that, well, half those deals under contract or whatever are not going to fit my buy box. Well, a bird dog, they're taking these deals under contract. And they're filtering it based on your buy box as the buyer. That's how they're saving you time. So of the 50% of that was the 128, only 64 of those are what's left over that I put under contract. And then you're referencing your buy box. Is it Georgia, right? Most of them are going to filter out. It's not Georgia. It's not this property size. It's not creative finance only. So only 25% of those can convert. So then you analyze those deals that fit your buy box, right? So there's 16 that have fit your external buy box, right? Right market, right property size, no HOAs, creative finance. Well, then those are the 16 you analyze. You analyze those 16 and you compare it to your internal buy box. That is, does it hit the returns that I'm looking for? Is it enough cash on cash return, enough cash flow? Well, only 25% of those, if that, will pan out. And then when those pan out, you submit offers and or you have to renegotiate them to improve them. So of those 4, you submit an offer to buy it or you have to negotiate to improve it. Well, 50% of those are going to get accepted because you're too slow or they won't accept your negotiations. So you have, of that 4, 50% are the 2 that are under contract now. Then you do due diligence, you do your inspection, you get, your insurance quote, your renovation quote, all those things. And then one of those is not going to pan out because the renovations cost more or something you didn't know occurred or the insurance was higher than you projected or whatever. So only one of those end up being the one that you buy. So why would someone pay $10,000 here, another couple grand here to buy these deals? Because if you're buying real estate, you should be buying real estate that hits your internal extra buy box. It hits your property characteristics, the market, the location, right? No HOAs, creative finance, property size, whatever. I'm paying a wholesaler to do all this work, to talk to 256 people, to then have 64 that I'm paying a bird dog to filter. So now I have 16 of those that already hit my buy box that I'm analyzing, right? That's what this is. Why? Because assuming you do that for every one of these deals, assuming these are your KPIs, these are the conversion rates, every deal that I buy, every time that I'm paying for someone to do all this work, I'm saving 80 hours. 80 hours went into all this for me to buy this one deal. I don't mind paying $10,000 or whatever for that work, which translates to a nice income for most people. Most people are not making $10,000 on one thing or $125 an hour. I don't mind paying someone $125 an hour, or $10,000 per deal or whatever, right? You just adjust the numbers for them doing all this work. So then I can find 2 or 3 of these instead of having to do all this work. I'm analyzing 16 to buy 1, 32 to buy 2, 48 to buy 3, because there's only so much time in a day. I'd rather use that same 80 hours instead of doing all this. I'd rather spend that to analyzing deals and choosing the ones I want to buy. And that's how it's done. Well, the thing is, what we're going to present later today is going to show you a way to make all of this more efficient. If you are a bird dog, you put it in front of as many buyers whose buy box you match with instantly, right? You have all these deals, but you need to connect to the right buyer. Great. You're going to have an ability to present it to all the buyers whose buy box it already automatically matches with. And if you are a buyer, you're not going to have to struggle with learning how to find wholesalers who have the deals and filter and all that stuff, because all this stuff still takes time too. We're going to get all this done automatically for you and then even help you analyze those deals almost instantly to then say, do I want to buy that deal? This is the next wave of real estate investing. I've done as much as I possibly can to systematize and improve and scale the ability to buy and hold real estate, which is why I've been able to grow my portfolio faster than the vast majority of people who started at the same time frame as I have, because it's all about understanding this and realizing you only have so much time in a day. What is the most important thing for you to do? What is the most important things for you to leverage? And as a super investor, let's find great deals that fit our buy box, that are easier to analyze. Instead of earning our way to working a job and making a bunch of money and saving it and then investing into real estate, like the example I gave you, let's raise money and provide someone great investment opportunities with these great deals and operate them successfully as you possibly can. So you provide them a great investment opportunity. That is the most efficient leverage route. Then you got to go all in on operations to make sure you're taking care of everyone. The deal is actually, because the deal could be great, but if you don't operate successfully, it means nothing. The capital who funded this deal, now you have a property, like I said, that's just you own real estate. That doesn't mean anything. You're not a real estate investor. So you operate successfully and consistently, they're getting cash flow. You're making more money than you're spending. You're getting cash flow. Then you are, over time, building that massive wealth through debt pay down, appreciation, all that. You stack enough of those, you are financially free through real estate. You have 5, 10, 20 plus $1,000 of cash flow every single month coming in, which is the whole goal. That's the real estate freedom roadmap. Develop the skills, learn as much as possible from the buyers that you want to be more like, make money during that process, translate to being the one to then do this full thing. And if some of you guys are already starting out with more money or more experience, I teach you and show you how to raise money to find higher leverage deals, operate them successfully so that you can actually grow and scale the right way. Not like you've seen a lot of people grow. They end up buying a lot of deals, using other people's money, buy a lot of creative deals, which is easy. There's no short. I could go buy 50 this month if I chose to. I could not successfully operate 50, which is why we don't. Very easy to buy creative deals. Very easy to raise money from people, unfortunately, who don't know what they're doing, who don't do enough due diligence to then fund those deals. Then you cannot operate them successfully. You've lost everything for everyone. You've wasted your own time and energy, which is the most important part. You've screwed over the seller willing to sell creatively, and most importantly, you've wasted the trust, the money, the confidence, all of that of the person who earned for years, for decades plus to save that money, to partner with you for a great investment opportunity. You screw them over. So a lot of people combine deals with money, and a lot of those guys who have surpassed me over the last several years, a lot of those have fallen down and crashed because they cannot operate the way it's necessary for the amount of deals they're buying. I intentionally choose to limit the amount of deals that I buy because it's more important to operate successfully and actually have cash from the properties that you're buying and build wealth for the properties that you're buying than buy a bunch of deals that you end up losing anyway. Well, the next wave in the way I've been able to help lots of people, whether it's for free in Real Estate Freedom Roadmap, the CoLiving education community to help you with operations and get better deals, or Super Investors, which helps you leverage all three of these already with all the tools, resources, and all that. Well, the next wave is implementing a lot more automation, even more automation than already exists with what we already provide to people. And that's going to be, let's get you deals. Let's make the deals easier for wholesalers and bird dogs to match up with the right people based on their buy box. On top of that, let's analyze those deals for the buyers. Let's help with automating a lot of that, pull all the numbers they're going to pull anyway, fill it up, do the analysis, allow them to more quickly and easily do the final piece of analysis, choose the amount of capital they're going to raise, structure it the right way, put that into the cap raising presentations automatically, leverage that to then push out in their CRM with the capital they're raising, and then get those deals funded almost instantly. And then all you focus on is operating successfully. The automations here are going to be unreal. We're going to be showing a lot more of that this evening. If you want to take advantage of that, and you guys know, unfortunately, if you want me to sell you something right away and all that, I don't do that. I spend a lot of time and energy providing education and value first and foremost for anyone that's joining. It's going to be similar to this to an extent, but provide a lot of education for you all so you can, no matter what, if you can't afford to join something, I don't want you to. Save your money, develop skills, earn more money, then join when it's the right time. What I want to do is provide lots of value to everyone and show you where you fit into this full system so you can earn, right, develop skills, buy deals, buy better deals more efficiently, creatively, raise all that. Wherever you fit in, I want to plug you into the right place. For those of you who are ready for the next level, I want to provide that to you all. But the majority of you guys may or may not be in the right position, and that's okay. I want you to still get a lot of value. What are the best ways to generate creative leads from creative wholesalers? So you can either leverage bird dogs who are already doing that work for you, right? They're finding the deals, filtering them, and then providing them to you, or you are part of some of the best communities out there for creative deals. Sub 2 with Pace Morby, my mentor, his free group, if you can't afford to join that, never pay for something you can't afford to join. The Real Estate Freedom Roadmap community, and then lots of Facebook groups and all that as well. So that is already more than enough deal flow for the majority of people to at least be able to find those deals, analyze them, and know what's a good fit, or if they need to find more. And then bird dogs help you level up because they're also not just you one-on-one finding deals. If you can find 5, but they can find 5, and you have 3 bird dogs working for you, well, that's 15 more deal sources for you. Looking to gain understanding placing those under contract for bird dog wholesaling, we got it. That's a later question, but for bird dog, you're not putting under contract. You're working with the buyer to then connect the right deals to them, and then you're getting paid for connecting that. Wholesaling is different. You are putting deals under contract. I'm not here to teach wholesaling education. There's a lot of that already out there. I'm not going to teach it. Not that I haven't done dozens of wholesale deals. Wholesale and bird dog deals over 100, but that's a whole other thing. It's not just, hey, this is how you put under contract. There's a lot of skills and all that other stuff that I'm not able to teach you guys to do right now because I don't have the resources. I'm not going to answer it one-on-one individually because I don't have the courses and all that for you guys for free. Maybe in the future I will, right? We go bird dogs and then we go direct, but right now it doesn't make a lot of sense. Stuck in finding gap fund for the next investments. Everyone wants to be in first position. It depends on what you mean, Zoe. Like gap funding because you're doing a fix and flip, so you need money for 6 months, or are you talking about like transaction funding like EMD? I don't know, but usually everyone wants to be in first position if you're doing a fix and flip or you're getting private money lenders. So there are private money lenders. Maybe they charge you more, or they need you to have more credibility or a better business plan to go in second position. Because if I'm doing creative financing, I'm not going to replace great creative financing terms because a lender wants to be in first position. I can't eliminate that. That's why I'm buying this deal. But they have to go in second position for this deal to work. But that's also why I educate on private money partnerships. How do you co-own investments with others so no one's in second position? We're both owners, and the only debt is the great creative debt in first position. that make sense?